Look, I've got some pretty bad news for you. The perfect TRT protocol doesn't actually exist. Listen, it would be nice to say that you could inject a milliliter of 200 milligram per mil testosterone once a week, 700 IU of HCG that same day, and take zero point 0.5 milligrams of Arimidex the day after and land at total testosterone of 1250, estrogen of 30, and DHT at 100 nanograms per deciliter. It'd be nice to say 2 clicks of 200 milligram transcrotal testosterone cream in the morning, and then 2 clicks of the same 200 milligram cream on the scrotum at night with 250 IU of HCG every other day would land you in the sweet spot for libido and erections. It would be nice to have a list of protocols that are guaranteed to work to dial in not just the sexual function, but also the energy and the anabolism on TRT. But the reality is that's impossible. To dial in on testosterone replacement therapy, you must throw the idea away that other people's protocols that work for them or protocols that sound logical are going to work for you. And recognize that if you're going to dial in perfectly on testosterone, you're going to have to craft the golden protocol that is tailored to your physiology. All right, let's take some examples. So some guys will dial in TRT at 150 milligrams of testosterone cypionate a week, split up into 275 milligram injections every 3.5 days, with 250 IU or international units of HCG other day. They hover around 25 to 35 picograms per milliliter of estradiol, which is a great zone to be. The DHT is between 80 and 120 nanograms per deciliter. They have functional testicles and they dial in. But you could take that same protocol for another guy, a different man, and his estrogen is going to land at 67 picograms per milliliter with DHT at 57 nanograms per deciliter. And in that case, the balance will be off. Ratios like that produce erectile dysfunction, loss of libido, loss of climax sensation, and loss of penile sensation. So the perfect protocol that looks good on paper, that you've seen other people or heard about on the forums other people dial in on, may not work for you. So you have to do some tinkering. In this case, the estrogen is too high for the DHT hormone milieu, and too high generally. So what you would do is the following. Number one, we see that there's a problem with DHT. It is not as high as it needs to be per that estrogen number, but generally on TRT. One way to address that is to get the DHT, or at least the androgen receptor binding that is like DHT, up by adding something like mysterolone or Proviron, 25 milligrams a day. But you'd also have to get that estrogen down from the 60s down to around 30. So you would do that by reducing the testosterone dose to 55 milligrams every 3.5 days, a total of 110 milligrams a week. Then you've got mysterolone or Proviron providing the DHT-like agonism at the androgen receptors, which is what you needed. You might still have mid-range DHT, but now you've got Proviron pushing the effect of DHT up at the androgen receptor sites and the gene expression level. So you take a protocol that was like perfect for someone else, but not perfect for you, and you just tailored it to you based on what your blood said and what your symptoms were. Alternatively, you could reduce the dose to, yet again, 55 milligrams every 3.5 days for a total of 110 milligrams a week of testosterone cypionate, and then you add 1 click of low concentration cream, preferably 100 milligram per milliliter, to the scrotum every day. Then what do? You reduce the estrogen down to your sweet spot sex-specific zone, the estrogen-friendly range, and you increase DHT with a little bit of transcrotal testosterone cream. Now the ratios work. See, your body knows how to make erections and make libido when it's got the right hormone ratios. But when they're skewed, your body does not know how to make erections and libido. Alternatively, if you want to get crafty, again, reduce the dose to 55 milligrams every 3.5 days and add 1 drop of 20% DHT gel to the scrotum once every day or every other day to get the DHT up and again the estrogen back down. Then you have the right hormone ratio. Now your body can produce erections and libido and you're dialed in on TRT. The bottom line is you took what looked like a perfect TRT protocol, you executed it, it was not perfect, it was a disaster. Then you tailored the doses, you shifted the hormone ratios, and you made it the perfect TRT protocol. Let's take another protocol. Some people have to drop to what I call the testosterone cypionate failsafe protocol, which, by the way, you can find in the video course Mastering Testosterone Cypionate for Libido and Erections, a full breakdown of the protocol templates and adjustment strategies that work. Protocol is 98 milligrams a week, 200 IU of HCG daily, and 20 milligrams DHEA daily. You inject the testosterone every day, so it's 14 milligrams a day. And some guys have to do that to dial in estradiol, because they can't take AIs. They're having a hard time trying to dial in estrogen with higher doses. So they go down to the failsafe protocol. Erections work, libido works, E2's at 29, DHT at 55, and they're happy. Other people run that protocol. The E2 lands at 25 or 28, but guess where DHT ends up? Low 40s. That's an okay ratio, but usually not enough DHT to support penile architecture for erections. In that case, you've got your estrogen dialed in. All you have to do is increase the DHT, right? So the fail-safe strategies, a click of 100 milligram cream on the scrotum every day or every other day. Take the DHT up 20 to 50 nanograms per deciliter from where it is. Now the hormone ratios work, and your body can make erections and your body can make libido. Again, the same is true with a little bit of exogenous DHT, just applied to the scrotum transdermally every day or every other day. And the same is true with 25 milligrams of Proviron a day, just an oral tablet of a synthetic version of DHT. Then you take a protocol that works for some people, you executed it, it didn't work for you, you tailored it to your physiology, the hormone ratios are now right, and you're dialed in. Listen, if you're having a hard time dialing in specifically sexual function, but of course energy and anabolism, all those things need to be present on TRT, then there are 3 products you need to consider getting. Number 1, Mastering Libido and Erections on TRT, the Sexual Function Playbook. This will teach you with any ester, both the protocol templates that work and the adjustment strategies to dial them into your physiology. Number 2, TRT coaching. Listen, if you don't want to go through the rigmarole of dialing in sexual function because you're busy, you have a business, you have a life, and you'd rather just have a specialist fix the problem, hire me. We will dial in the libido, the erections, the climax sensation, and get you on a protocol that's tailored for you. Through a tailored protocol engineering process where you're working one-on-one with me for 30 minutes, 3 months, or 6 months. And if you want templates that do work for testosterone cream, grab Mastering Testosterone Cream for Libido and Erections. It is a video course and it's yours instantly. All these products can be found in the description of this video. All right, now let's take another protocol. This is like a commonly suggested protocol, and a lot of people end up going wrong with this protocol because people think the TRT, the perfect TRT protocol exists, but it doesn't. It's 4 clicks or 4 pumps of 200 milligram per milliliter transscrotal testosterone cream on the scrotum a day, but it's split up into 2 in the morning, 2 clicks in the morning, and then 2 clicks in the evening. Call it 9 a.m., you do 2 clicks, and then at 6 p.m., you do another 2 clicks. For some people, that's actually going to be perfect. High DHT, enough anabolism, lots of energy. Estrogen is largely controlled via the DHT. I mean, more is converting to DHT if you're applying it to the testicles than if you're injecting an ester into your delt. You get measured peaks and troughs twice a day and a stability of keeping androgen receptors activated and hormones in the right ratios, and people dial in perfectly that way. But for some people, if they try that exact template, the template that looks like a perfect protocol, it will radically fail. Testosterone goes to 1500, estradiol goes to 76 picograms per milliliter, and DHT high, well, call it 180 nanograms per deciliter. But guess what they get then? Hair loss, accordion penis, because the estrogen is too high, hematocrit of 54% and a hemoglobin of 17.9 or 18.5, worse yet. They've got to donate blood to get that down because they're short of breath. And the whole thing was a disaster. You then try 3 pumps of the 200 milligram cream on the scrotum, but you do that all at once in the morning. You dose 100 IU of HCG daily, and maybe that works. Maybe you've got the E2 down to 30, you got enough DHT, you ride off into the sunset. But for some people, even that is not going to work. What you do is you take that protocol that seemed perfect for other people and you tailor it to your physiology. As an example, you switch to 100 milligram per milliliter cream. 5 clicks of that is equal to 2.5 clicks of the 200 milligram cream. Now, you made smaller increment changes and can get a lot closer to the sweet spot. You run 5 clicks of that, estradiol lands at 28 picograms per milliliter, DHT at 89 nanograms per deciliter, and you dial in. The point I want to make here is there is no golden TRT protocol. It doesn't exist. There's only the TRT protocol that you, through a systematic process of engineering the right hormone ratios, specifically DHT to estradiol, tailor for your physiology and dial in finally on TRT. Look, TRT is about taking esters, HCG, aromatase inhibitors, primobolan, masteron, Proviron, and tailoring the doses and frequency of these compounds to fit your specific physiology. Mastering, therefore, your hormone ratios, being super anabolic and feeling great, and living a good life with youthful sexual function and stoic masculine determination. That's how you should feel on TRT. And again, as I mentioned a little earlier, if you need to do that, Mastering Libido and Erections on TRT, the sexual function playbook, was created exactly for that purpose. Loaded with great templates that work and adjustment strategies to dial any ester into your physiology. You can download it instantly now and start viewing it. It is 20% off. The code is on the screen. Again, as I mentioned, dialing in on cream can be challenging. That's why I created a video course that shows you from a 7-year TRT coach's perspective, the right templates to use and the right adjustment strategies to dial them in perfectly. Get Mastering Testosterone Cream for Libido and Erections. It is a video course right now. It's down in the description of this video. And again, lastly, if you need private one-on-one coach to engineer a protocol that is tailored to your physiology, specifically to fix erection and libido problems on TRT, hire me. We'll get on the fact-finding call. You'll have 30 minutes, 3 months, or 6 months of my time and attention, and we'll resolve the sexual function and get you dialed in on TRT. All of our products are geared toward helping men find the right ratios and tailor protocols to fit their physiology, specifically to resolve sexual dysfunction and to feel great on TRT. And you can get all of them down in the description of this video. Listen, brother, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you. I enjoy the fact that you're here and that you've taken the time to be with me in this video. I'd love for you to like the video. That makes a huge difference, man. If you want to show a little appreciation, just hit the like button, bro. Sub to the channel. Listen, a lot of our viewers these days, based on where YouTube is sending our content, are new viewers. If you're new, brother, I would love to have you on board, man. I crank out a ton of science-based content on TRT, and I'd love to have you on board as a subscriber. Otherwise, kick ass, rock on, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you on the next one.